Good, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the JQ Edge. And we know JQ is Joy Intelligence. Thank you for joining me live or watching the recording wherever you are in the world. And today we have a powerful, difficult, but something everyone can relate to. And I know for myself, for years and years in school, going all the way back to junior high and or high school, and then certainly undergrad and graduate school, something that's not quite taught in how to resolve conflicts and how to handle the, of course, emotions of conflict. And I believe most of you watching or listening have gone through this. So it could be the long-term friend, it could be the business partner, it could be the life partner. You might have all high joy intelligence in general, and then one topic hits and all three drop. Your safety drops, your presence drops, your joy drops, all three in one shot. So that's what happens sometimes when we don't see eye to eye, especially if it's an important relationship. So if that disagreement pops up, the question to, well, the question in school for me and growing up, and for many years after growing up, is do you have to win? When you're in that key moment, do you have to win? So remember when your safety drops, even people you deeply care about, both of you stop hearing each other. And so Joy Q Edge, Joy Intelligence Edge, helps us through that. And remember, the science is easy on this one. Our brain is our protection at times. So when we feel misunderstood or we're not seeing eye to eye, and it could be a really important issue, sometimes it's a really silly issue, your brain sometimes doesn't tell the difference and it registers it as a threat. The same neural response as physical danger. So your safety drops first, then your presence. So we become defensive, and then the capacity for joy in the relationship will drop. So using joy intelligence, safety will come back first and everything will follow. So let's go through that. So I remember years ago, I've had the same best friend. I've been very lucky since kindergarten. And we were just talking about world events. And he said something that triggered me. And now we look back on it and we both laugh at it. And, but when he said it, I was like, my initial response was, what planet are you on? And how could you say something like that? And what's wrong with you? And, then my brain races through with a thousand thoughts and a thousand feelings. I'm not going to talk to you. You need to change, blah, blah, blah. And it was a big deal. Now, this can happen in a moment at work. This could happen when you're having a discussion. You could misread someone's text in the morning and just go off on the wrong foot. So, in that moment with my friend, I mean, we literally, both of us didn't talk to each other for 24 hours. So, what happens to safety, presence, and joy? It happens right in the moment. Your safety is threatened. Your presence is barely there, so it drops for both of you. Your walls and defensiveness go up. You're talking at each other instead of to each other. And the reason that you started the discussion is forgotten because both people may want to win. And when you're being defensive, you're not listening, and the distance of joy grows, especially in the relationship. So when we're talking at each other, both people aren't listening. And underneath all of that, we really want to just be understood. It's not about winning. So our passion comes in. I'm going to say it anyway because we're not paying attention. We don't do that reset. So your passion will shift when you use joy intelligence. That's what the edge gives you. It's a pattern that you can use as a new habit over and over to do the reset. So it's the commitment to the relationship underneath the disagreement. It's the commitment to the relationship underneath the disagreement. And here's the thing, your brain, once it gets in that survival mode, it doesn't want to change. So that's why we need to reset or rewire. And passion says, I care about the person and I'm saying it anyway. And, a lot of times this happens in relationships with young couples. Sometimes when you are together for a long period of time, we think of arguments can be the end. Arguments aren't the end, arguments are disagreements, working through them, staying in the commitment. Having a disagreement isn't the end, it's the beginning of keeping the relationship going. That's where your passion comes in. And your brain will build the case to stay in that survival mode. And it's going to, your brain's going to tell you messages of, don't you get it? So if I know I deeply care, that's why you don't walk away. Different from you can take a break, you can breathe, you can reset. So, what I'd love you to do is think about a person in your life right now. Could be the most important relationship you have, your spouse, your partner, your long-term mate, could be a friend, whoever that is. So, just think about that right now. What's keeping you committed to the relationship? It's not the argument. Underneath it all, it's your commitment to stay in the relationship because you care about the other person. And when you're in the middle of not seeing eye to eye and we get out of survival mode, we can focus on how we're going to repair things, how we're going to move forward. Can be simple. I confess, I had a difficult relationship with my father, and any kind of feedback or criticism felt like a boulder rolling over me. And I would just shrink in the moment. And then my get back or survival would be not to talk to him for a while. And then I finally learned how to reset, how to execute, how to navigate my emotions to keep the conversation going. And sometimes I'd say, I know we're not going to see eye to eye, but I'm going to keep the commitment to the relationship. So think about this. You can navigate through your emotions, no blame, no pointing the finger, no, you don't get it. It's how do we get to the point where we understand each other? And it is perfectly okay that you might disagree on something. It's how you're going to move forward with that. I don't think anybody agrees on everything. And, if you're at 80% or 90%, that's amazing. So the thought here and the feeling, I want to know what you believe is the feeling that comes up. It's not about, well, in survival mode, it's not winning. That's what just pours through your system immediately. It gets us angry, defensive, and we tune out. So not when you were navigating, don't you get it one more time? It's knowing you'll get through it. You can navigate and regulate through it without being reactive. And I'm working on that myself all the time. It's The human reaction is defensiveness, and we're showing you a path through emotional navigation. So, yes, chair of joy, it's sit before the conversation, not during. Center yourself. Breathe in. I care about this person. Think, what do I actually need them to understand? Feel, navigate. No walls, no blame. What's the feeling that comes up? But let's just go back for a moment. I care about this person. That's why it's hard. If you don't care, then you blow it off and you don't work through it. And that's when coming in contact. So when we talk in Joy Intelligence about that reactiveness, that person that you think about before you even get home, show up at work, going to an event, you already start reacting. You haven't even had contact with them. That's why working through and navigating is powerful, helpful, helps you progress, lowers the tension, lowers your reactiveness, and allows you to have higher levels of joy intelligence. When that safety, presence, and joy is threatened, what happens? We drop down. It's like going down the elevator really fast. And so we're going to turn the knob to go up a level at a time to raise our safety, presence, and joy. And so when that happens, you are less reactive. You're more present. You're more powerful. You're more in tune with people. And that's really a great way to have better relationships, better business partnerships, better profits, better everything. So when we breathe in, remember, we care about the person. We want to resolve it. That's the difficulty. And so the proof when we do the reset drops. You don't have to prove the point. Proof is you worked through it with your joy intelligence in a way that has clarity, in a way that is calm. And so here's how you know it's working. The need to prove yourself drops. The need to prove yourself drops. Not because you gave in, because you navigated yourself first. You moved through your feelings first. You asked your brain, what's the best reaction or solution? What's the best thing to say here? And when you do that, you find yourself in a really great position. You don't have to validate your experience to them. You just have to listen. You just have to listen. And sometimes listening is the hardest thing when we're in I want to win mode. So today, check in with yourself. Do I have to prove my point? Do I have to listen more? Do I have to win or just get to agreement? How are we going to move forward? So check in with us. Leave us your comments on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Love to hear from you on what you believe here on not seeing eye to eye. And remember, this is the Joy Intelligence Edge. We train it by living it every day. Let's get the edge together. Have a joyful day. And remember, navigate your feelings. See you tomorrow morning.